Hi, welcome to Courageously You with Martha. I am Martha Davis Alexander, the host for the next 45 minutes or so, and I am so glad you've joined us. We are on the WGSN-DB network. It's a TV and podcast. It's the #1 internet network in global history. So today, we are going to talk about, are you giving away your power? But what does that question even mean, right? What's power? So I'm going to read to you I always look up definitions. It comes from when I was very young, and I'd ask my father, what does that word mean? And he'd say, go get the dictionary. So we always had multiple dictionaries, and I'd have to go look it up. So anytime I'm like, what does that word really mean? I go to the dictionary. Thank you, Dad. Anyway, power. What does power mean? It means the ability to do something or to act in a particular way. It also means a supply of energy, right? If you think about power, electric. And I am going to push that just a little bit further, if you'll bear with me a minute, and say we are all energetic beings, right? Sometimes you have high energy, sometimes you have low energy, but power can also be, where do you lose energy, right? So when I'm talking about power, I'm talking about and giving it away, or of losing it, or of leaking it, right? I'm talking about what are the ways in your life that your ability to do what you want to do, your ability to act the way you want to act, and your level of energy, right? How you're going to do something with how much energy and enthusiasm and enjoyment, right? What are the ways that you're either giving it away, it's leaking from your life in various ways. So what are those ways? The first one I want to start with is one that's pretty prevalent right now in my house, and that's clutter. I hate clutter. Every time I walk by my kids, they're adults, right? My daughter is 18, my son is 20. We just had my oldest here, who's 21, and and the two who live with us, their view of cleaning their room is moving everything to the hallway. So there are baskets and boxes and piles of things, right, that they leave out there. And that drives me nuts. That leaks my energy. That leaks my power. That it makes me angry, which is an emotion I just don't need to have over something that's stupid, right? So I have to manage that, or I choose to manage that. And I walk through it every time to get to my office. There's a hallway. One end is my bedroom, my husband's and my bedroom, and the other end is my office. And in between that is a hallway where the kids have a bathroom and they have their rooms. And that annoys me. And then there are other pockets of areas where there is clutter. And it is something that drains my energy. So are there areas where chaos or lack of filing or lack of organization or lack of doing a task that you've been meaning to do for a long time but haven't? Like getting a passport or something, right? Is there something that is on your list that every time you see it, it leaks some of your energy? Just a little bit. We had little leaks in the pool, and it was just leaking a little bit of water, right? But it still was leaking a little bit of water. So what are those cracks in your surroundings? What are they? Chores that aren't done or something. What is it? Make a list of those and see if you can reclaim that, patch that leak so that it is no longer leaking your energy and your power. Another one, and this is a big one for all of us, but it's a huge one for people who are sensitive, particularly. No, I think it's a big one for everyone. Never mind that comment. Self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? So sometimes I will catch my husband saying something about himself that isn't true, and that, quite frankly, I don't appreciate him saying about my husband. So I will say to him, don't talk to or about my husband that way. That doesn't work for me. And he will do the same thing for me, because I used to be so much worse than I am now. It used to be a constant chatter at myself of stupid, or how could I have done that, or what was I thinking, or whatever the conversation with myself was. So catch yourself, try and catch yourself and stop the self-talk, because that is a huge leak that drains your energy, that drains your confidence, that drains your ability to do what you want to do, right? So if you want to speak on a summit, or if you want to go into court, if you have a court case going on and you want to go into court as a party to the action, and you want to be calm and cool, right? And collected and make reasonable decisions. You don't want to have that energy leak out. You want to have all of your energy with you, working for you. You want to have all of your confidence. You want to have all of your self pulling the same way, right? You want to be moving the same direction. You don't want to be sit there pretending to be calm and collect and saying that was the stupidest thing I've ever said, or I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have done this, or why am I feeling this? You don't want to do that. So the best way to prep and to start that, right, is to start catching those comments. And quite frankly, if you wouldn't say it to your best friend, if you wouldn't say it to your child, if you wouldn't say it to someone you love with all your heart, don't say it to yourself. You should be your number one fan. I want everyone to be their number one fan. You are an amazing being. You are a being of light and love, and you are an amazing being. And you shouldn't tell yourself anything else. I want for everyone to be able to stop the self-chatter, the self-doubt, the self-sabotage that is so common. And if you're newly single, it could be, why am I single, right? This isn't where I expected to be. If you're single because you chose that, whatever it is, right? I want you to walk in confidence. And the biggest leak and the biggest way you give away your power with respect to your confidence is by that negative self-talk. Self-talk should be, wow, I'm proud of you for trying that. That one didn't work out that way. And I'm going to try it again. We're going to try it again. I am so proud of you for trying that. I am so proud of myself for doing that. And no, it is not selfish or conceited or boastful to tell yourself, good job, to give yourself a pat on the back and say, that was a great try, or that was a really good job. I really enjoyed that. That is exactly what I want to do again, right? Because when you celebrate yourself, when you celebrate your wins, when you celebrate your failures, right? When you celebrate things that didn't go exactly the way that you thought they should, you are building your confidence. You are building that willingness muscle to try again. So which is better? Which would you prefer? Would you prefer to continue the self-doubt, right? To have that self-doubt going on and that chatter in your head? Or would you prefer to lift yourself up and out of that and to tell yourself how flippin' amazing you are? You know, it took me a long time. I'm overweight by about probably 50 pounds. I'm going to say that easy, 50 pounds. And I'm happy to tell you that it is what it is right now. And I'm not even going to blame it on COVID, people. It's what I have chosen. It is the things that I have chosen and the inactivity I have chosen, sitting at my desk. 100% my choice. And yet I can look in a mirror without clothes and say, wow, you are amazingly beautiful and I love you. It has taken me 61 years to be able to do that. And there was a point in time when I was a size 0, when I couldn't have done it then. I could only see the faults in me. It has taken me 61 years to be able to look in the mirror and say, wow, I love you and I really appreciate your beauty. Practice doing that. It is the most rewarding thing you can do. It is not a boastful, it is not a conceited thing. It is the ability to love yourself as you are, imperfect with everything else. That plugs some leaks of energy. That when you look at yourself and you're like, oh gosh, I got to lose 50 pounds or I got to lose 20 pounds or whatever it is, right? And that's what you see. You are leaking power everywhere. You are leaking your energy. You are draining of yourself, of confidence, of your light, of your energy. You are draining. You are leaking. And if you can look and say, wow, you're all that. And I know I didn't do the head thing right. My daughter will laugh later. I try, but it's just not my gig, and that's okay. But it will be someday. I will practice enough. So when you can do that, when you can build yourself up and have confidence, you are adding power. You're adding energy. You're adding to your ability to do bigger and better and what you want. You're adding to your life of joy and happiness. So what's another way? So sometimes, and this kind of goes along with that, right? Sometimes somebody will say something to us and it might be negative. And we don't stand up for ourselves. We don't say, no, that's not quite right. Or, I appreciate your view. That's not my view. I disagree with you. So, and that leaks our energy, that leaks our confidence. We are our first line of love, of confidence, of acknowledgement. We are the first line of that. And if you wouldn't allow someone to say that to your child, to your husband, your partner, to your best friend, or even to just a stranger on the street, right? If you wouldn't allow someone to do that to someone else, do not allow them to do it to you. Stand up for yourself. And if you need to figure out how to do that, right? Think about some of the things that were said, that have been said to you that you didn't stand up for. And then just give yourself a couple of deep breaths and say, what could I have said? What will I say if there's a next time? Right? Because you want to be able to say, no, that's not true. Or tell me why you see that. Tell me how you see that. And be willing to listen and then say, that's not true. Those things aren't true. Or I don't see myself that way. I'm sorry you do. Whatever it is that you need to say for you, right? If it's a matter of people giving you advice a lot, right? People telling you how you should live your life, and you feel bad because you're not doing what they want. You're not people pleasing, right? And that's partially defending yourself. First, trust yourself. Trust yourself that you know what you're doing, that you've thought it out, that you know what your decisions are and why you're making them, right? If that's the first road. The second road is to say, wow, I wish you'd trust me. I trust myself. This is the decision I have made. And that's where it is. And it's not open for discussion, right? So for me, I was a lawyer for a period of time. Well, a couple of decades, whatever, 3 decades, whatever it is, a period of time. And I decided when we had kids, I decided that I was going to stay home with them because for me, we were adopting kids. And for me, what was the point of adopting them if we weren't going to be there? I had a law practice that was very busy. I worked a lot of hours, and my husband worked a lot of hours as well. So there wouldn't really be a point to bringing children into our household if we weren't going to be there, right? If that wasn't the point, if we weren't going to participate in that. So for me, I chose to stay home, and I was perfectly fine with that. And there are a lot of people on both sides of that debate. You shouldn't stay home. You should work. You should stay home. You shouldn't work. I don't care about any of that. I knew what was important to me and what was important to my husband. And he was fine either way. He was like, that's not my choice. That's your choice. And you get to make it. His choice was to continue to work, which worked perfectly well for me. One of us had to work. One of my brothers was so upset, was so disappointed, that when we talked about it, his view was, you studied for years. You have a particular gift and skill. You have spent decades perfecting that and being that. Why would you stay home? Your job is to be a lawyer. And I said, that's really an interesting perspective. And I appreciate that that's how you view it. And I appreciate that I am a phenomenal lawyer, because I was. I appreciate that. And I appreciate that that's what you think about my life. What I think about my life and what's important to me is to raise responsible, happy, healthy children. And so that's what I will do. If I decide to go back to the practice of law, I'll do it when I think the kids are ready. I went back a little early. They just hit middle school. It's not the time. If you're parents, that's just not the time to go back to school or back to work. So, unless you have to. So I made the choice. And for a while, it really bugged me. It really, I gave away some of my power because I thought about that a lot. This is a brother that I really, really, I respect him. He's one of my favorite people. And his view was really important to me. And it made me really sad that he and I were at opposite sides. And then it made me angry. And that drained my energy. And that wasn't his intent. This is not about him. This is about my internal struggle, right? So I firmly believe that what you believe is going on outside is really a reflection of what's going on inside you, and it's an opportunity for growth and to grow. it's my opportunity to share with you that I was giving away some power and I wasn't even aware of it. I'd made a decision. I was happy with my decision. So why did it bug me? Why did I care what someone else thought about that, about what I should do? It comes from working, right? Working on that. We're going to continue to talk. I hope you guys are finding this valuable. We are going to continue to talk about ways that you give away your power or drain your energy. When we come back from these short messages, you are watching Courageously You with Martha. I am your host, Martha Davis Alexander, and this is the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. You can reach me at marthadalexander@gmail.com or at courageouslyoucoaching.com, or you can text me or call me at 805-422-6865. We will be right back. I cannot wait to continue this conversation with you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Oh my gosh, you guys, I am so excited to be back. Amazing array of shows on this channel. I hope you enjoyed that break. This is Courageously You with Martha. And again, I'm Martha Davis Alexander, your host. You can reach me at marthadalexander@gmail.com or courageouslyoucoaching.com or at 805-422-6865. I so look forward to hearing from you guys. I always love hearing from my audience. And you are on the WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We are talking today about ways, and are you giving away your power? Ways you give away your power, ways you drain your energy. So where we were was talking about not standing up for yourself or people second guessing your decisions. And that's a huge way that people can drain their power. So if you're going to make a decision, we all make decisions every day. Decide to stand behind if it's the right decision for you and you know it in your gut, right? You can think about it. What does the decision mean? Where does it take you? What path does it take you on? Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? And how does that decision get you forward where you want to go? How does that decision move you to where you want your life, your happiness, your joy? How does that decision move you forward? And if it doesn't move you forward, is there still a reason to do that? And if there isn't, then maybe that's not the decision for you, right? There's a whole thing on how you make decisions. And that was briefly how you make a decision. The goal. What is your goal? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to head? Does it move you forward? All right. And if it does move you forward, and if it is where you wanted to go, for me, my purpose was to raise 3 children, whom I adore, even if they leave a mess in the hall, to raise them, to love them, to give them the best life I knew how to give them, and to be there. Did I always make that work? No. Sometimes I sucked at it. And that's okay. It was where I wanted to go, and that decision to stay home, I will never regret. Ever, ever, ever. That was the best decision for me, and for them. So what's another one? What's another way you give away your power? So there is something that mostly women do. Not saying you can't do it, guys, but mostly women do it. And that's we apologize for something. And we don't necessarily need to, right? So you don't always have to apologize, right? Sometimes you can say, oh, thank you for being so patient, or thank you, right? Showing appreciation rather than groveling. I'm sorry is really overused by women. We say, oh, I'm sorry when someone bumps us in the grocery store. I've done it too. That leaks our power, right? And then it annoys the shit out of us. Or at least it annoys me. And sometimes we don't even notice that we do it. I had my daughter one time say, why did you say you're sorry? It's a great question. Why did I? So just being conscious of what we're saying, why we're saying, why we would apologize. So what does sorry mean? Sorry means, please forgive me, right? I'm so sorry I did that. I regret doing that. I regret doing that. Well, you regret being in someone's way when they bump into you at the grocery store? That's a leak of our energy. That's a leak of our power, right? That is another way to put that is a very disempowering thing to say, unless you're saying it because you have done something and you actually regret doing it, right? That's what I'm sorry is. I regret doing that. I regret that hurt you. I regret that I took that action, or that I made that choice, or whatever it is. We don't need to say I'm sorry. I went to a retreat before COVID, so BC. And we had to put $1 in the sorry jar. Anytime we said, I'm sorry, right? I'm sorry. And right, if we started whatever we wanted to say with, sorry, I was just getting up, or whatever, we had to put $1 in the sorry jar. And I loved that exercise because it really made us think about when we should say, when saying sorry is appropriate and when it's not. Sometimes it's just it's just something we say and we don't even really mean it, and that isn't a great use of that word then, and it still disempowers us. So my goal, if you're leaking your power, giving your power away, draining your energy, they are actions that are disempowering to you. And I want to encourage you to take actions that are instead empowering. How do you empower yourself to help with that confidence, to help with that moving forward, to help with a joyful life? When you are disempowered, it is hard to feel joy. It is hard to feel happy when you are disempowered. So empowering yourself is one of the paths, one way, one part of happiness and joy. So this is all ways that you're disempowering, or that you might be giving your power away, and ways to possibly look at doing it differently. So if some of these resonate with you, I want you to write them down and say, I want my mind. So you can say to your mind, subconscious, I want you to pay attention to and notice when I say, I'm sorry, when it is disempowering. And you will start noticing it. How do I know that? Because have you ever wanted to buy or played, let's skip that. Have you ever played one of those games with your kids or with anyone when you were a kid or whenever? Slug Bug. That's what we played when we were a kid. We were looking for a Volkswagen bug, little bugs. And if it was a yellow one, you got to do 2 hits or whatever it was, right? We played slug bug. I can't remember what my kids did. They did something a little different because they didn't slug. I grew up in a rougher generation. And all of a sudden, you see them everywhere. They are everywhere. Or you're shopping for a car and you want a blue one. And all of a sudden you see this wide variety of blue cars. Or you say, I haven't seen a red car in a really long time. And all of a sudden that's all you see is a red car. Because you're telling your subconscious, I want to look for that. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want you to notice, filter in, and pay attention to. We filter out so many things during our day that we're not even aware of, that there's so many more bits of information that our brain and our subconscious get that we don't realize because we just can't take in that much information. So set yourself up to notice, when am I saying I'm sorry? When am I leaking energy? When am I not defending myself? When are these things happening? So that you can then say, how do I want to do that if and when that happens again? What is a way that I will feel empowered? Okay, so those are the questions. That's a write or downer. What is a way that I will feel empowered? What is a way that I will feel better about the situation? So some other things that are drainers, and this one is just totally up my alley, and that is squirrels, chasing squirrels. I love squirrels. I'm just going to say, and I used to, up until now, I chase shiny objects all over the place. I'd go from one thing to another thing to another thing. Shiny object syndrome all day long. I don't do that as much anymore because I want to focus on the things that matter, the things that move me forward. Shiny squirrels, man, I can chase my tail all day long and lose my energy and go to sleep and not have done what I wanted to do. So if the night before I set, this is my goal for tomorrow, these are the things that I would really like to get done. How long will they take me? And am I going to get it done, right? And if I don't, when else will I do it? And stay on that track. So email is a huge drain of my energy and my power. I can get sucked into email or social media so easily. Before, I used to do TikTok. I no longer have TikTok anywhere on my devices because I could lose 5 hours in the black hole of TikTok. Easy. Stay up most of the night on TikTok. Easy. I don't do that anymore because I don't want to. It drained my energy. I was giving away my power to something that I just didn't need to, right? So what are things that are in your day that are squirrels, shiny objects, things that are a sinkhole? And how can you monitor those? You don't have to give them up. I still do my social media, which, speaking of which, you can follow me, Martha D. Alexander at Martha D. Alexander on both Facebook, on Instagram, and it is LinkedIn. It's Courageously You Coaching is my LinkedIn. So you can find me on any of those platforms. And I still play on those platforms, right? I still love social media. It's fun to see what other people are doing and to get ideas and to share ideas and to support each other. What's not fun is all of a sudden being in a downward spiral and maybe envying what somebody else has, somebody else's trip or somebody else's whatever, right? That is a leaking of your power. So if that's going to happen, and I have clients who deleted their social media for a year or two because it was such a downward spiral for them that it was disempowering every time they got on it, whatever their social media platform was. So think about what it is that brings you joy. The people in your life, right? Who are the people in your life also who lift you up, who make you better, who want the best for you? Who are the people who drag you back down? That those who empowers, who disempowers. All of those things are areas in which you're giving away your energy, your power, your ability to do what you want to do. Because this life of journey is about setting your goals, setting your dreams, setting what life you want, and moving forward towards that and learning all the lessons on the way. So, what empowers you to move forward? And if it doesn't empower you to move forward, is it draining? Are you giving away your energy? Are you draining your energy for something that is not moving you forward? That's what today's been all about. And I have like 10 more on my list, but I am out of time. I know, hard to believe. So thank you for joining me for Are You Giving Your Power Away? Are You Draining Your Energy? I want for all of you the ability to move forward, to becoming courageously you, to moving courageously towards the life that you want. So however I can empower you and help you and encourage you to do that, that's what this show is all about. Join me again next week at 3 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Mountain, thank you, 5 p.m. Central, and 6 p.m. Eastern on the Going Solo Network for Courageously You with Martha. This is a live show. So if you show up live, you too can be in the show and you can comment and ask questions and I will interact with you. I love doing that. So join me again next week, Thursday, live. We will see you then. Until then, courageously move forward toward your dreams. See you next time.